Reviews, and today I'm back for another Walking Dead video for today. This one's going to be doing our weekly Saturday Spotlight video for this week. This one we're going to be doing a character Spotlight video on Richard from The Walking Dead.
We've silenced the whispers.
Okay guys, so this video was suggested by BluePop1, who suggested this video for me to go ahead and do a Richard character spotlight video. So everybody go subscribe right now to BluePop1. He suggested this, character spot. Well, he or she, I don't know, either one. But anyway, so I'm really excited to get into this one. Now, however, with Richard though, that's the thing. He's not in the show that long, so it's definitely not going to be, as easy to do a character spotlight video on Richard. But I do like this idea because I do think that he is one of the most memorable characters of Season 7 because he is really the one character that made Morgan go into clear mode for the war, If it wasn't for Richard doing what he did, Morgan probably wouldn't have killed anybody in the all-out war storyline. So, I kind of, hold Richard responsible for Morgan kind of going clear mode because he did kind of get Ben killed in the end. So, yeah, so there is that, but basically with this one, with Ben and kind of how he gets him killed, he is a pretty important character because he also kind of is the one that ends up convincing Ezekiel to fight the Saviors and kind of making Ezekiel realize that they have no choice. So. Yeah, but, of course, Richard is introduced in The Walking Dead Season 7, Episode 2, The Well, and killed off in Season 7, Episode 13. Now, he's only in 5 episodes. He's in Episode 1, he's in Episode 8 when he goes to talk to Carol and Morgan. He's in Episode 9, the mid-season premiere when Rick and the others go there to try to ask Ezekiel to fight. He's in Episode 10 when him and Daryl fight. And then, of course, in Episode 13, probably his biggest episode, Bury Me Here. So, he only lasts 5 episodes, which it's kind of weird because it actually seems like he was there longer, but because there were so many bottle episodes in Season 7, he wasn't in, all that many. So, yeah, of course, in Episode 2, of course, we get to see him fight, Jared, gives him the middle finger right in the face, and he kind of, Jared really... How can I say this? Jared really just causes problems because of how Richard is acting, which is kind of dumb, but it's Jared, of course, and Jared wants to, make a point to Ezekiel and the others, but he's really just, starting crap for no reason, and, of course, Richard kind of has to do what the king wants him to do, so he kind of just has to take it from him and not really, punch, Jared back or anything big like that, So, of course, yeah, there's that. But, so things are starting to be unnecessarily tense, as Gavin says, and that makes me unnecessarily tense, I didn't come all this way for stress, So, yeah, we got Gavin, of course, saying what he's saying, and, it's kind of true. Things are very unnecessarily tense, so, I just love the way he says that, and then, he goes to see Carol, of course, because he wants Carol to fight, but, of course, she doesn't want to, neither does Morgan, and that's the end of the story, but, of course, when Rick and the others show up there, he tries to kind of convince the king, but, the king says no, of course, which, you can understand, he doesn't want to lose any of his people, and then look at what happens in the war, he loses a bunch of his people, so, you can understand where he's coming from, but Richard wants to fight with Rick and the others, but, he's like, the kingdom has to get involved, that type of deal. But Richard even tells Rick as they're walking out, like, I'll come with you. Like, who cares about the kingdom? I'll come with you guys, and I'll fight, the Saviors. Which, for me, that was one of Richard's best moments when he told Rick, like, I know the kingdom's not fighting, but maybe I'll come with you and fight, because you know what? You need the numbers, and, whatever, I'm here to help you guys, I don't even know you, but I'll help you, so I like how Richard did that, but, of course, they gotta find other groups, of course, and they do find the junkyard as Rick and the others are out, but Daryl, of course, who has to hang back, of course, because, otherwise the Saviors would probably see him outside the walls and take him, so, he's safer in the kingdom, and, the Saviors do not step foot inside our walls, and Daryl's like, how long do you think that's gonna last? So, I like that as well, but, him and, of course, Richard, of course, so, they go to the meeting, of course, Daryl stays back, of course, but they go to the meeting, for the supplies, and Richard fights Jared again, and Jared takes Morgan's staff too. So he really is looking for it now. He's really waiting for the death. That's for sure. That Morgan certainly gives him a brutal death in season 8. But you don't take my staff. That type of deal. So we got, of course, Jared, who fights him again, and it's kind of a repeated thing. Every time they go, him and Jared fight. It's kind of like the norm at this point. So we got that, but of course he says to Daryl, I got to start using these bone arrows more. Saviors know that I shouldn't have a weapon against them or a gun against them, so I should probably start training with these different type of weapons that aren't firearms. And him and Daryl go out there, of course, and he wants to sacrifice Carol. So Daryl, once he finds out, of course, they fight, and it's they miss the Saviors. They drive right by them, and Daryl, of course, he's like, no, if anything happens to Carol, she dies, if anything happens to her, I will kill you. And, Richard says, I will die for the kingdom, I would die for the kingdom. And Daryl looks at him and he's like, why don't you, and it's so funny where it goes, because of course, then he literally does try to die for the kingdom. So of course, this is the last part right here. We find out he lost his little girl, of course, we see a little bit of that as well, but he buries, he makes a grave for himself, and then of course, slows them down with the carts, and of course, as a result, makes them late, and they're one, cantaloupe short. And of course, what happens is, we see the death of Ben. Of course, he's bleeding out, and they don't make it to Carol's in time or to Kingdom in time, and Ben is killed. And of course, that messes with Morgan. Of course, he really, cared for Benjamin, and unfortunately, then of course, we get to see him find out that Richard has hid the cantaloupe. So he throws the thing in Richard's room or whatever, and kind of confronts him about it. And they make a deal, they make it seem like they, they understand, and they know what they have to do now. And then when the time is right, they're gonna kill some Saviors. But of course, Morgan stands there and out of nowhere takes the staff, knocks him down, and pretty much strangles him to death in front of everyone, which is just like, I remember the first time I saw this, I was like, oh my god, like, Clear Morgan is right in front of us again. It's like, holy crap. Full circle, that's for sure. So, yeah, and then, of course, we get to see what happens with Morgan later on, but that is the death of Richard. So, what are my thoughts on this character? I mean, he's one of those characters, and, for Blue Papa 1 that suggested this video, he really is one of those characters that's memorable in Season 7. He's a great character, and, what happens with Morgan as a result of that is really crazy as well. So, anyway, guys, write your comments in the comment section below. Thank you very much to Blue Pop 1 for suggesting this this character spotlight video, of course. Write your comments in the comment section below. Who do you guys want me to do a character spotlight video on next week? Write that down in the comment section below. And of course, I will catch you guys really soon for another Walking Dead video. Enjoy the rest of your day, guys. And I'll catch you guys really soon for another Walking Dead video. Peace out, guys.